back when the COVID crisis hit and the world shut down, we definitely had a new appreciation for the importance of human connections. A smile, a handshake, a hug. Being able to connect with one another again made this year's Memorial Day parade that much more special. And that is where I met our next guest, Pastor Kevin Christmon with the Greater Harvest Church of God in Sylvan Lake. So great to have you on the show this morning.
Oh, so glad to be here with you.
I have to tell you, you had the biggest smile at the parade. It looked like you were having so much fun.
Oh, definitely. We love the parade, and as you said in your intro, we haven't been able to have it for the last 2 years, so it was just great to see the community and to be out and to hug, like you said.
I know, and I'm a hugger, you know, so these poor people, because I know we're still kind of in the pandemic, it's not over yet, but it's so good to be able to meet people, new people such as yourself. So for those that aren't familiar with your church, tell us more about it.
Well, you know, our church, our church plant, I started the church, or we started, I should say, in '97. And we started out in a school. We were in a school for 5 years, and then we shared another church for about a couple years. And then that was actually how we met the person who represented the former congregation that sold the church to us. So we've been in the community now for almost 20 years.
Wow. And you know, I've passed it a million times and never thought to really stop in and say hi, but it is right there next to the police department.
Absolutely, right. Yes. And, you know, interesting story about myself is my very first job I had was at McDonald's. The McDonald's of Sylvan Lake.
Really?
Yes. So I kind of been in the air all my life.
Well, look at that. And you get to look out your window every day and see where you started.
Yes.
Pastor, can I tell you, how is the church doing? Are you guys back in person now?
Yes, we are. You know, it was, as you said, it was really caught us all by surprise, and we had to do what was needful to make sure that everyone was safe and you know, but you know, after seeing things loosen up, we were able to actually start meeting in person. I think this was in September of 2021. So, you know, we've been at it. Actually, I'm sorry, it was September 2020. We were back in. We do a hybrid service though. We have some people who are on Zoom who are still doing that, and those who are not able to meet us in person. But we are back in person, and we enjoy it because we miss the connection.
Right. I mean, Zoom is great.
Yes.
I don't think any of us, I'd never heard of Zoom before this, so it's been a great tool. But it just doesn't replace that in-person connection and sparking those organic conversations.
Absolutely. And you know, I think something that people lose sight of is you can maybe get something out of attending a service remotely. You know, you can hear, you can learn, but there's not really an opportunity for you to use your spiritual gifts, which each believer has, to basically be a blessing to help build somebody up or edify someone else. If you're not there in person, you can't do that. So it's really important, as you say. So,
and with that, Pastor, can I ask,
sure.
Because see, you guys seem like you have quite a few kids that attend as well. It looks like you have a pretty close-knit congregation. So how are they doing through this? Is it pretty much from this point on full steam ahead?
Oh, yes, indeed. You know, we do have a lot of children, and sometimes, you know, it becomes a challenge, you know, to keep them all on track. But yeah, you know, the big thing that we saw, you know, as many people did after the pandemic is, you know, that inability to really socialize. that was missing, and it's not just something that affected us. We see it all over the country, all over the world. I'm pretty sure. So obviously, what we're doing to address that is we do things to bring the kids together. We have classes with them. Sometimes we are doing trips with them. We've got a trip we're planning right now to go to the DIA because they really enjoyed that, and some other museums in the Detroit area. And as well, we've got some services that we're going to be doing outside. So that's going to be exciting.
That is so great. Trying to find ways to keep kids engaged and off their devices as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, kids and adults sometimes.
Right. Sometimes I'm like, can we go back to the rotary phone?
Right, exactly. And even just reading an actual book, and that's just something, almost a lost art form.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Pastor, can I ask you, because our church family is really so important to so many people, and it helped people through this crisis. What lessons do you think you and members of your congregation learned that maybe was a blessing in disguise?
Well, that's a great question. I would tell you that, it seemed like as a nation, we were kind of, going along, and the economy was great, and, everyone was, enjoying things. Yeah, there was a lot of, tension and, things of that nature, which the news covered and such. But for the most part, we were kind of in a lull there, or complacency. But anyway, what this taught us is that family is very important. That and that family is not just your immediate family, but it's obviously your community, your church family. In addition to that, as a result of kids not being able to go to school, for example, they missed out on so many events with their friends, graduations, proms, just a number of things. So, what we're doing is we're really trying to help them to understand that yes, this is something that we have to basically deal with, but at the very same time, our faith in God is such that He's ultimately in control of everything, and even this pandemic and the terrible impact that it's had worldwide. We see the hand of God in it, and He's brought us through it. We're having this conversation now, and there's nothing that's going to come into our lives that is not going to pass through His hands first. So we're confident, and we're not going to be afraid. We're going to enjoy life.
There you go. And we remember back at the beginning, it was about helping people, getting back to the basics. Learning, hey, if your neighbor needed something, you dropped it off on the front porch, and we got back to that giving season and the giving heart. And so with that, can I ask you, your church, do you need volunteers? What type of programs, if someone's just meeting you for the first time, that you want them to know about your church?
Well, that's great question. As you've noticed, we do have a lot of children, so I tell you, hands in assisting with our kids would be really a blessing. So that's one aspect of it. In our Sunday school, we still have a Sunday school, and sometimes we struggle to have our teachers on staff for that. But in a children's church, which happens during our actual morning worship service, so, hands in that respect. But then in addition to that, we're beginning a new program that we're partnering with some other churches on, and it's called Milk to Meat. And essentially, it's going to help to train our young men and our young women so that they can learn life skills that will help them to, basically grow up and mature and become productive members of society. Just very quickly, as you know, we've got the breakdown of the family. I mean, we've got school shootings. We've got so many things that are happening, and so what we need to do is re-enter into that space and just come alongside the schools and help out, the families, and help them out as well.
Yep, let them feel connected to
Sure.
something. I love that program. Well, when it gets underway, we'd love to have you on again to talk more
Okay.
about that. Quickly, before we say goodbye, where is your church for those that have never been there?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're located at 1900 Inverness in the city of Sylvan Lake, which is practically on the corner of Orchard and Middle Belt. So very easy to get to.
Very easy, across from Sylvan Table, next to the police department.
There you go.
Pastor, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, and it was so nice meeting you.
You too, Ronnie. Thank
I'm
you.
going to stop by and knock on your door one day.
Looking forward to it.
You have a happy weekend. Thank you again for your time.
You too. God bless. Bye.